Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and hello everyone, and welcome to today's online session of Procurement Board. My name is Ivana Ondruchová, and I work as a trainer and an administrator at PROEBIZ, and I'm very happy that I can be hosting this webinar for you today. Just before we get started and we introduce our topic and our guests today, I would like to let you know that in case there are any questions on your mind during this session, there will be a possibility to send those questions to our guests afterwards. And at the end of this seminar, we will show you the contacts, so you can feel free to send your questions to our guest speakers. Today we are going to talk about digital transformation in procurement fields with our two guests who came to share their experience and solutions for digitalization processes, and especially nowadays regarding, for example, pandemic, a crisis which hit the global trade and had devastating economic impact on almost everyone. It seems that transformation in every way is the key and must-do thing. So before we take a closer look on this topic, let me introduce our guests to you today, and let's welcome our first guest, Franck Capron from GEP. Welcome, Franck.
So good afternoon, everybody. Can you all hear me properly?
I'm sure they do. Could you
please
so. Tell us a little bit about you, what you do, what's your current
Yes.
expertise in procurement?
So no, thank you. So my name is Franck Capron. So I'm a director in GEP. So I'm responsible for leading and implementing what we call source to pay program, which also includes digital transformation, the core topic for today. I've been in GEP for I think almost 9 years now. You can probably recognize I'm a French native, but I'm based in our Prague office. And my background is really procurement, supply chain, and consulting, I think, for the past 15 years now. So I would like to thank you and for the opportunities to talk today. And I think just before starting, I also wanted to give you a very quick introduction of who GEP is, and also why the topic of procurement digital transformation is something very relevant for us. So not going to go too much into detail, but GEP we're a global company. We specialize in end-to-end procurement supply chain solution. So we are a software company. So we build what we call the next generation business platform. So very, very focused as well on procurement and supply chain. We also provide managed services. So we are also, let's say, a service provider. Then I think this is interesting because this is our tech feed our services, and our services experience feeds as well our tech. And obviously the strategy, especially when it comes to digital transformation. So we've been in the business for 25 years, a bit more than that, around 20 offices all over the world. And we work with many different organizations and also industry that came with their different challenges, also level of maturity. Some are starting the digital transformation process, some have done them. For some of them, it's still something very, very far. And I think overall, we are recognized as well as a global leader in both procurement and supply chain. So that's just about myself. Thanks, Ivana.
Welcome, Franck. Thank you. And back to our second guest. I would like to welcome Tomáš Veit, who is joining us today, and he's representing Asahi brewery company. Could you tell us, Tomáš, something about yourself, a little bit to let our audience to know?
Sure. Good afternoon, everybody. Pleasure to be here with you. My name is Tom Veit, heading the procurement team in Asahi Europe and International. Asahi is the brewing business, global business, bringing the joy to our consumers across the world. For those who are coming from Central Europe, probably our famous brands are Pilsner Urquell, Kozel, Radegast, Shorish, but also others from Poland, Hungary, or Romania. Today, really lovely to be here with you and looking forward to the discussion with our strategic partner, GEP, and Franck Capron about our transformational journey.
Great, thank you. Welcome, Tom. Okay, let's do it. Let's open the topic, digital transformation and its context. Franck, do you think you could start with opening this topic and get us a little background on what we are talking about today?
Yes, and thanks for that. I think it's very important to try to understand what do we mean by digital transformation and digital procurement transformation, because it's a bit of buzzword as well, for everyone. So when you talk about digital procurement transformation, we said it's first of all, it's not just about technology. Let's be clear. It's the reorganization of basically your procurement strategy, processes, people, skill set, support system, which is actually triggered by new and emerging digital technologies. So basically all the new things that are happening now in the digital landscape that are going to support the procurement process, but as well, through a pretty deep transformation. So once again, it's not just about technology. So we do have a lot of new possibilities now that are made actionable, with considerable gain in efficiency, can be more agile, more competitive organization. And again, I think you mentioned that in the intro. I think in the context of COVID, with a lot of work from home situation, cross collaboration across function, this is definitely a relevant topic now, and we need basically both the process and the results to be transformative. So that's just about kind of a bit of a definition, and I think you rightly put the slide that I wanted to show. I think I wanted to start a bit with a bit of history here, because I think we've been talking about digital transformation for quite a long time. So it started literally 20 years ago. We heard about the promise of technology making just the procurement life simpler, just quicker, faster, cheaper. It started with basically the paper that we replaced with the analog system, fax, telephone, email, paperless office, P2P system replacing, carbon copies, the traditional post. So in the industry as well, a lot of process automation. And I think the ultimate objective was to be more efficient and free up your time. I think, and the question we always ask is, okay, now did that really happen? And this is what we call literally the digital promise. So as I said, I think since 2000, more or less, we had multiple ways of different technology. So and how does that translate with each company? It means a lot of transformation programs, a lot of different business cases. So as I said, with every technology way, so for example, when we move to POs, when we stop doing emails and cold, or we reduce that to move to e-sourcing, and then the so-called automated sourcing, the expectation from, I think, both the user and as well the buyer has risen. And as I said, I think a lot of companies has been through a lot of business case, adding new technology, new system upgrade, a lot of different deployments, new processes, optimization. So all this stuff has created a lot of expectation, as I said, to make it quicker, cheaper, faster, and somehow fully automated procurement. So there were a lot of positive in it, and I think that it's fair to say that some things are worked out pretty well. But I think, if you ask yourself the question, and if organizations ask themselves the question, who can really say that they are fully embraced the full benefits of, let's say, the what's the line of digital? And I think very few. That's the answer. And this is what I call basically the digital reality. If you move to the next slide, please. It's just what we see and what we hear is different. And as I said, we do work with different organizations with different level of maturities. And the more we move, with this different wave of automation, we've seen an actual reduction in the incremental benefit. So basically, it started with a lot of benefit, and then it's becoming less and less. It's not all bad. And I think if you look at direct, for example, direct material, we've seen significant improvement, with supplier collaboration, auctioning, automated PRs, advanced shipping notification. But when it comes to indirect procurement, the so-called, let's say, another buzzword, Amazon experience hasn't really fully happened. If you look at a lot of organization, indirect procurement, catalog coverage, guiding buying strategy, very limited, sometimes completely non-existent. I've seen a lot of organizations, for example, that have e-auctions, which are a quantitative target. So basically, they have to reach a certain number rather than being a true benefit tool, and automated sourcing is very limited. So I know a lot of people, for example, still using e-sourcing simply as an email box with an Excel file. So basically, you put an Excel file on your tool and you call it e-sourcing. Spend insight, data are limited, and most of the time due to quality issue, especially in indirects. And at the end of the day, the contracting process for many organizations remain very manual, so lengthy. Discuss with legal, you send the Word document, the track change, and everything. Talking about SRM programs, again, very early stage and very often still owned by the business, not by procurement. So just wanted to give you that quick overview, and the reason I think that we do see as a big let's say at the big roadblock of those transformation is really about technology, but not just technology, data, skills, and also operating model. And I think Tomáš, you've been through that journey, so I think it will be good really to understand if that sort of comments as an echo to you, and how Asahi basically has went through this transformation, and also the learnings you had from that.
Indeed, Frank, thank you for bringing this picture in front of us, because I think it's absolutely relevant. I think for us, naturally, we are on the journey. We are not at the beginning, we are not at the end, and that's the beauty, and that's why we need the strategic partner like GEP to go through that journey together. Where we started, it was pretty similar, like Frank was mentioning. So, for instance, 10, 15 years ago, the norm was that we were getting the offers from our suppliers in the envelope. We were waiting for the post office to come bring us the offer, which was part of the tender. The e-auctions for us in our business were at very early beginning. The contracts, usually, when we complete after a long negotiation, the contract, it was signed on our side, then sent to the supplier side on their side, then returned back. Then we were sending it directly to, for instance, in Czech to Pilsen to upload it into the archive as a PDF. And that was everything done manually. The benefits 10, 15 years ago, I was having the Excel sheet and I was tracking all the big projects, and I was tracking the foreseen benefits and impact on budget and impact versus year on year. So that was the beginning of our transformational journey related to the digitalization of what we are doing in case of the source to pay. And that time we have started the first wave of the transformation with our first partner. We started with PROEBIZ, we started with Ariba, we started with some others. And in every single market, we started slightly differently and we moved the bar to different levels. And that was the reason 3 years back when we really activated the second wave of our transformational journey, which we have started together with our pre-selected partner GEP, just to ensure we really have one standardized solution, which is going through end-to-end process for us within the Asahi. That means source to order, not still a source to pay, but at least source to order, and which is giving us chance really to get ready for stuff which at the time were unknown. So for instance, COVID, everyone was locked at home. Many of us were locked for more than 12 months. We were not able to get into the office. We were not able to get directly to the local LAN or the connection within the office, to the internet and to the share drive and some other places where all the documents are usually stored. But thanks God, the transformation, the second wave of transformation together with our strategic partner has started before that, just to ensure we are ready for unknown stuff, including the limited ability to really work from the traditional places where we are working. And that was the reason why we really progressed at the time with the different stuff in case of the technological journey. But at the same time, that's the reason why we are having the long list of stuff we wanted to do in the coming 12, 24 months in order to ensure we can really make ourselves again ready for the stuff that might come and will be different challenge than what we experienced over the past 12, 15 months in case of COVID.
No, and it's a very good example, Tomáš, because I think when we look at different companies and as well especially from the technological aspect, I think a lot of things sometimes has gone well with company, but if they want to embrace the full transformation, they somehow need to rethink a bit, basically their entire potentially IT landscape, processes and stuff like that. And what we've seen, for example, with a lot of companies, it's a lot of them actually they had what we call a certain proliferation of standalone system. So basically, and it comes with different reasons. Sometimes it's because it's at a regional level. Sometimes it's because they went through acquisition. So a company using a certain technology landscape, another one using a different one. Sometimes this discussion have been very IT driven. I think we see that as well with some of our clients and some of the company we work for. And when you reach that kind of basically digital environment with a lot of different processes, tool, and very local control, I think you somehow need to take a step back and somehow what we said relearn and redeploy. And we do actually believe that yes, the unified technology make the process and experience a bit more powerful. And I think the technology is one thing, and I think this is something I'll be very interesting as well to learn from your experience. What we see on our side is just technology is not the only answer. So you can buy the best tool and solution in the world. It's very important to have your people and your operating model as well working in the same way. So we do still have that sometimes the vision of this kind of old school procurement thinking, really with legacy control, and this is something we see sometimes as the number one problem. But people are a bit afraid of change. I mean, probably remember myself, and I don't know for people listening to the webinar, the first time you run an e-auction or publish an e-sourcing event, it's a bit scary, to be fair. So there is still a bit of a roadblock, into doing things completely differently, and especially with this level of automation. And what we see, it's there is a lot of organizations that still like to have procurement having a certain analog sort of control, and this is what I call they simply do automation by hand. So you need the right tool and you need the right, let's say, digital landscape. But I think what's also very important is to articulate your digital skills, people, and way of working around that basically new setup. And it would be very interesting, Tomáš, to hear your experience here, and if that's something you've been through, especially when you implemented that solution.
Yeah, you very nicely touched the challenges we experienced. So the first one was naturally the people mindset. And that was the era where we have started just to ensure people can really understand the vision of really single ways of working, single policies, single processes, and single setup of the system, which we will use as a procurement for the source to contract or for the source to order or for the source to pay service line. So that was the first challenge, which was appearing like 3 years back when we started the second wave of the transformational journey. The second one was the number of platforms and their integrity. So we were having the time like 8, 10 different markets, different businesses who were usually having some inherent type of the platforms and system, and not all of them were using the same tools, which was naturally complicating the life for anybody who was trying to drive the central type of approach and direction. So our second challenge was really to select one single strong partner, one single strong application or tool, which will give us chance really to move everybody to the same level of the understanding how good look like, but at the same time give us chance really to monitor the stuff across the markets, across the businesses, across the entities in the same way. The third one was naturally the money. So usually all these discussions are also about the people, about the ways of working and systems, but then also about how to sponsor it. So our third challenge was about really how to ensure that we are able to get the right funds to make it happen in a relatively tangible timeline. And that time we were planning about 12, 18 months for the full entire deployment across Europe. And here what was fundamental for us to find the right articulation of the value proposition, which we agreed with our pre-selected strategic partner in order to ensure we can clearly demonstrate why we are doing that change, why we are aiming to move to the second wave of the transformational journey for our function, why we need to invest the money, and where the business will see the value. Because naturally, when you are from finance, you are searching for the higher savings. When you are from procurement, you are searching for something that will simplify the work for you. When you are from the audit, you are searching for the governance and the control mechanism. And when you are from the business, you are searching for the automation and stuff which will help to your business people either to bring more value or to free up your hands. So it was a very interesting part and learning for all of us when we were really going through the detailed value proposition. It was not like the business case. It was really the pure value proposition, which was trying to capture all the benefits which such new integration of the different system, different platform, but also moving our people to the different level of the capability, what all these changes will bring back to the business in different from the different angles and from the different perspectives.
Very good. So did you train, Tomáš? Did you run some specific, let's say, called digital training for your people as well, just to embrace that that transformation?
Yeah, we were having the special change management type of training, assuring that people really can understand what's the potential impact on them, but also why we are doing the stuff, why we are introducing the new system, why they need to learn how to use the new system, and how to really simplify everything what they will be doing in the future. We use the network of, I would call it like subject matter experts or ambassadors, who were like captains in every single team, in every single market, and helping us with the adoption of the new system. And I was really glad to hear that when we compare also with other businesses going through the implementation of the new systems, we were rated by GEP as one of the quickest companies with the highest adoption rate, which is measured by number of the transaction going through the new system. So we also put in place the clear KPIs, assuring that we can measure the success. So the first was the how feeling from the team and from the people who are touching the new platform, for instance, which were giving us the customer, I would call it satisfaction, that it's better for them, that it's quicker, that it's give them the higher value at the end. And then second was the external view. That means based on whatever type of the traffic in the system, how quickly we were able really to turn our people to the right direction, to the right usage of the platform versus others. And these were for me the key indicators which were balancing the how element, something like a little bit softer and sometimes very subjective, with the what. That means the clear, hard KPIs assuring that we can clearly measure the conversion from the as is or the time as is to the to be. That means the new ways of working while utilizing the new platform.
No, very very good, Tomáš, and I think this is very aligned as well with what we see. We talk about technology. I think now we've been discussing a bit about skills and also a bit operating model. I think I have also to echo what you said. What's very important and what organization need to understand, I think, when they go through this journey, it's as I said, it's not just about technology. You also need to have those digital skills. I'm always taking the pictures. If you give the newest smart TV, for example, to your grandfather, obviously he may not get the best use of it without going through a proper training and change of mindset. Sometimes we said, we use that expression that old dog can't learn a new trick, but I think it's very important. Even in procurement, when people have been doing the same thing and the same approach, using the same systems and process for years over years, just to understand that there is you just need to change a bit your mindset and your approach and simply develop new digital skills. Digital is really a skill now, and it's not going to change. So having those kind of you mentioned that those kind of local champions, or even some organization have an internal, let's say, digital COE, like Center of Excellence. It could be around e-auctions, it could be about, catalog development, it could be about, processes itself. I mean, there are plenty of areas here. This is something which is which we believe and we strongly believe is needed for organizations that want to embrace this journey. It's once again, it's not just about technology, and also sometimes it's also about rethinking your operating model. Here, a lot of time in the past we were talking about source to contract and then P2P, as very two different organizations. People need to think, organizations need to think that it's source to pay is one unique process, and in most of the case, it needs one owner. So when you change your system landscape, the organization needs to follow, and this is one of the major pitfall I think we've seen, in companies, not being very successful in embracing that digital transformation journey.
I agree, Frank, and we are using 5P model for this one. And as you mentioned, at the end, whatever platform is at the end just tool, right? So unless the people are capable to work with the tool, unfortunately, you are having just a very expensive tool, which is not used to the full potential. So we are combining 5P model usually in this particular area. The first P is about people, their capability, their mindset, their competency level, their ability really to move the transformational journey ahead. The second is about processes and policies. So for us, all the time, it's necessary to link these processes and policies with the physical tools, just to ensure it's linked together. It's working as an environment. It's assuring that really people, when they follow the process, they automatically do in the same way the stuff in the system. When they need to follow the policy, you can easily see it from the system. So you link these stuff together. There is nothing what can be happen in case of such a digital transformation without the collaboration with others. So partnership is the 4P we are using. Partnership with our external partner for the deployment and for the platform, but also partnership within our business, assuring that at the end everything is happening from the deployment perspective, but also we are really using the new vehicle which we are having on the parking lot. And the fifth P is about performance. We need to ensure that at every single stage of the project, you are able to measure whether you are delivering according to the originally agreed timeline with the right success criteria, etc. So that's the deployment part. But for us, it was really fundamental to ensure that the new system for the BAU period will give us chance to really track and give us at every single moment the visibility, how we are performing against the last year, how we are performing against the target, how we are performing country by country, person by person, or the category by category. So the performance from the value delivery, but also performance versus the compliance to the different policies is for us really fundamental. And I think it's then critical to ensure that we can see the system also as a platform, as a tool or area where we can track our current performance and the future direction of the travel of the entire function.
Very good, and I think maybe because I'm also cautious of time, before Ivana just interrupt us. So I think maybe to summarize, Tomáš. So what's your lesson learned and basically your future plan now? Will be interesting to know basically your result and how it worked out for Asahi, and then I can quickly give also our GEP vision here, and I think that will be good to wrap it up.
So our key lesson learned, but also recommendation for any similar project we plan to do is first, we really need to know, and that's a recommendation to everybody. Please just check how good and great it looks like. Otherwise, you are just limited in your own thinking what you want to achieve through the vision and through the final deployment of whatever type of the technology. Then second is about really build together with your strategic partner the clear value proposition and move out of just the FTE savings or the savings coming out of the better portion of the spend being managed, because there is much more you are able to gain through the new technologies and digitalization. The third one, in case of source to pay, please standardize as much as possible and ensure that your solution is scalable, because you never know what will happen next year. All the businesses are going through the material changes, they are going through integration, divestment, etc. So having the standardized but also scalable solution will make you ready for the future. The next one is about simplicity and user-centric approach. One of our value proposition is the user satisfaction rate. So please ensure whatever you are doing is really tracking also the satisfaction of your user and is using his lenses when you are designing anything as a part of the source to pay. And simplicity is linked to the standardization. If it's simple, it's easy to understand, it's easy to learn, it's easy to use. So please stay as simple as possible, because source to pay is the luxury we are having. It can be standardized, it can be very simple. From the people perspective, you cannot make any change, but at the same time, you cannot use any system unless you are having the personal commitment and curiosity of your people. So all the time, search for those who are really curious to learn more and who are really helping you and will be ready to help you on the transformation journey. Because without that, these people, you cannot make it happen. End-to-end is the only approach we should use in case of source to pay. Otherwise, you will be silo-oriented and you will miss some value which can be generated if you are using the end-to-end lenses in case of source to pay. And almost the last one, less is more. Don't do everything. Really focus only on the stuff which are bringing the material value to you or to your business. And the last but not least, and we unfortunately we're not having time today to discuss it, what was big surprise for us, we can do such massive deployment and adoption of the new platform as a part of our digital transformation fully virtually. Because just 1 month post our start of the project, we just learned that the COVID is here and it's locking ourselves and our strategic partner at home. And we were doing all the deployments over the past 18 months virtually with no face-to-face contact. So yes, if you wish, you can make it virtually. Frank, anything else from your end? Anything what you wanted to, or Ivy, comment?
No, yeah, I
I
think
think
you've been
Frank will cover that.
yeah, I'll be quick. I know we are running out of time. So I think, I wanted to give a bit of a, let's say, a 2-minute maximum vision of as well how we GEP sees the digital transformation. So I think, what we are playing in is just, an overview of our own solution, which is unified. So basically, I think what you can see here, it's like everything is interconnected, and obviously there is a lot of potential basically to make your life simple. So I mean, if I just look, for example, on the source to contract pact, so you get a good span, you can do your project tracking fully online, so with your saving tracking as well, with everyone, procurement and stakeholders going directly on the platform. You can do your sourcing as well through the platform, turn into your sourcing event to a contract, flip it directly, or the other way around, your contract resourcing. So your SRM and even the category management through AI and analytics. So it's really like leveraging a lot of user experience, automation, data centric, and with this concept of having something unified and closed loop, and something also we can link with the P2P just to have it in one go for, as I said, one S2P process. So that's I think this is something very important, and one thing we see in the future is for organization. And but beside the technology, I think it's very important as well to invest, I think, in digital skills. So I think, Tomáš, in your organization, I think you were relatively mature in that aspect, and this is something I think we've seen working with you on this transformation journey. For some companies, obviously you can't really learn what you don't know. And this is something as well, investing on digital skills, the concept of digital center of excellence is also what the future is about for organization, if they want to embrace that full digital journey. This is also something, obviously we work on the service side, but I think, this is an element that we believe is going to be more and more relevant. I will not say in 10 years, literally from now, because I think COVID is anyway going to accelerate all this digital transformation. So people, tools, processes, skills, and new thinking of your organization. That's what we are talking about here.
Great, thank you guys. Thanks for being with us today and joining us and opening this topic. And for those of you watching us and would like to ask Tom or Frank another question, you can see their emails. And of course, if you contact us directly, we are always more than happy to share that information with you. So feel free to send any questions if there are any. And a big thank you to all of you today. And maybe one last invitation, since we mentioned the digital transformation today. And if you would like to know more about this, not only in this theoretical way, but also to find out more details, we are preparing a new professional digital procurement team course, which is 11 weeks course for those of you who would like to find out more. So we are looking forward to either or in person in Ostrava for this Academy Procurement Board. So thank you again, and I hope we see each other soon, either online or in person. Thanks again, guys.
Thank you
Thanks,
for the
Ivana, for
invite.
the help.
Enjoy the day.
Thanks, Tomáš. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.